Hey there, and welcome to this week's Create With podcast, where we talk about building software without being a traditional developer using AI and no-code tools. I'm James. I'm here with Kieran.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
It's our first episode back after our recent retreat that we just had in the Netherlands. So we were away in the Netherlands, the whole Create With team, along with some friends from 100 School, working and shipping from the Netherlands for a week. So yeah, Kieran, do you want to kind of maybe give a bit of a rundown of the whole thing, really, and what happened and what it was all about?
Yeah, I think it was a great week. Obviously we all met on Twitter, basically. So we've not really spent that much time together in real life. Most of that time has been during the conferences. So I think, when you're working remotely and doing a lot of Zoom calls or Google Meets, I think it's just really nice to actually spend some time together where you're not talking about work. Obviously, there was a lot of work talk, but it's just good for team bonding. So we decided to organize a few days where we could go, and we set ourselves some like really clear targets of what we wanted to ship during the time. And we found a nice house in a random location in the Netherlands, and all went there with our friends Max and Harold from 100 School. And it was a great experience, and we did manage to ship everything we'd planned, which was really good. We're kind of coming up to the launch of what we call Create With Season 2, which is effectively where we want to take Create With. Now that we've had these two successful conferences, we really want it to be more than just a conference company. So we've done a lot of discussion and planning around that, and last week was all about kind of trying to get that into reality. So making a lot of updates to the website, adding a load of new directories for tools and AI events, and also planning our own kind of future series of international meetups. And then the really big one is that we are also launching a membership community. So people will be able to be Create With members, and that comes with a load of benefits, including early access to events, discounts, micro courses and tutorials, perks from all of our favorite tools, and regular kind of office hours where you get to talk to some experts. So hopefully that is going to be a big part of Create With going forwards. But it was great to just have this week together where we actually kind of sat down, made some decisions, and then got to put things live like every day on the website. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.
Yes, it was fantastic. Really great to actually get stuff shipped every day as well. Yeah, I think the website's looking fantastic now, and like you say, I'm really excited about the membership. I think some of the perks that we've managed to negotiate with some of the tools are really, really awesome, and kind of make the whole membership worth it just from that alone. Never mind all of the office hours and the invites to events and all that kind of stuff that you get along with it as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth getting in there. As one of the early members, you get a really cool kind of little membership card as well, which I really love. But yeah, definitely head over to createwith.com. You'll see everything is completely updated there. A couple of things that we've added are, we kind of often found ourselves struggling when trying to find what were the best AI and no-code meetups and stuff around the world. Obviously, there didn't really seem to be one really good central hub that pulled in events from everywhere. So that's one of the things we launched last week. So we've launched with about 12 cities, and we're kind of built an index of all the events that are happening. So if you're interested in kind of AI or no-code events that are happening in like Berlin or Madrid or Barcelona, you can head on to the Create With website and you'll see a directory of them there. And you'll also see a list of all the upcoming Create With events as well listed. So I think we have about 10 coming up, and they're all around the world, literally from places like Amsterdam through to Berlin and over into even Vietnam and Thailand. So yeah, we've got tons of great events coming up.
Yeah, and the other thing to look out for is that, the whole website is built on Bubble. A lot of the events are being scraped automatically from the web using tools like N8n. So we're really doubling down on all of the same tools that we're trying to teach people. Really, yeah, it was amazing for me to be in the same room as you and be able to just ship things on our Bubble site like super fast, like new features. I think it was a good reminder of just like how much you can do when you've got experience using these tools. And that's why, I enjoy a bit of vibe coding here and there, but I always find it quite challenging to pick up a new technology and try and learn it from the start. And even with vibe coding, where everything, yes, seems very fast because you're just letting the AI do it, there's still a big learning curve when it comes to actually understanding like deploying things and version control in your app and stuff like that. So I just really appreciate that we built it on Bubble, because having this ability to kind of launch new features, new pages, memberships like so quickly is a superpower, I think.
It is, yeah, and like you say, I think one of my favorite things that we have is how we're using Bubble with N8n and AI agents. Like, probably one of my favorite workflows that we have now is whenever we publish a YouTube video, it's automatically transcribed. And then if there's any kind of AI or no code tools mentioned in it, we kind of automatically tag those on the website. So, for example, if you go to the kind of OpenAI or ChatGPT page on Create With, you'll see all the videos where they've ever been mentioned. So this one's going to come up in there now because we've just mentioned it. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. And adding like agentic capability to Bubble apps, I think using N8n is something very, very cool, and definitely something I'll cover a little bit more in the future, because I thought that was a really, really good example of where they can work together. And like, I think that's one of the reasons we do love Bubble, is that it does work so well with all these other tools. Like, I use it with Supabase and Cloudflare Workers and N8n, but it's just, how open it is in the API connector and plugins and stuff, that you can use it as a bit of a hub. And it's definitely become kind of the hub of Create With, like you say, with all our marketing on there, a marketing site on there, on the native app, the events directory, and all the new membership stuff as well. So yeah, really, really exciting to build that out, and quite an amazing amount of stuff we got launched within a week. So yeah, it's just a nice reminder of when you do get people together. I think it's kind of refreshing how quickly you can get stuff done. I think the feedback loop of just chatting to the person next to you is definitely a lot to be said for that. So yeah, really, really great. Loved our first retreat.
Yeah, looking forward to doing another one. And yeah, it was also good to see how much you guys go to the gym and how healthy you all eat. It was inspiring to me to see a different way of living your life compared to the more hedonistic lifestyle I live up here in Norwich.
Yeah, I think Ash from the Create With team was putting us all to shame on that front. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot about all that as well. Very, very cool. And one other thing that we did while we were over there was, you guys headed to the Internet Friends Meetup in Amsterdam one evening. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about what happened there.
Yeah, so it's a meetup that was, we found out when we were there. So it's run by this guy, Kieran, Brands, who is a Dutch guy who is one of the founders of Simple Analytics. And so he's been doing this for like 19 editions of this Internet Friends meetup, and it's like super low key. He just tweets, we're having a meetup, this day, this time, and there's no like registration page. People like DM him to say I'm coming, and then they just show up. And he said that every time there's like people he's never met before. Like even at this one, he only knew about 50% of the people, and then a bunch of new people just showed up, and so he gets to meet all these new people. And it was super cool. But he said he met Max. I'm thinking he hasn't met Max before in person. Max Haining from 100 School, who came with us, and he said, Max, this whole event is because of you. In fact, he said the whole like simple analytics is because of you. And Max was like, how is this possible? And basically it emerged that Elon had joined the 100 Days of No Code challenge that Max had set up years ago. And he said he lived in the Netherlands. And so Max introduced him to a couple of people that he knew, like Mike from Minimum Studio. And they met up and they started chatting. And then he got introduced to his future co-founder of Simple Analytics. And so that became a thing, and now they're doing like what 500k ARR is the milestone they just passed, which is crazy. And yeah, all these regular meetups sprung from it. So yeah, it was kind of funny for Max to show up to this thing he's never been to before, and hear that he was really the trigger for the whole thing to start. But yeah, it was really cool. Had some great chats with new people who I'd never met before, who were like, some of them were working on VR. It's like VR software and headsets for the police to train them on stuff like how not to racially profile and kind of stuff they should be learning. But they do all the training in VR. And then obviously they replay the scenarios and see what they could have done better. So that was really cool. And then, I was talking to Mike and Yusuf from Minimum Studio about their decision recently to switch from no code to completely code. So they've had to basically upskill their entire team from being, they were always one of the more technical studios, but obviously a lot of them now have had to learn how to code, and they're now using Cursor and Claude Code on a daily basis rather than any kind of visual development tool. So that was super interesting to hear, like, their thought process behind that, and really how they're finding it. And it did inspire me to spend a bit more time learning to code. Mike said if I spend like a full month doing it, he reckons I'll be like quite far along. But I have since then like watched some videos on using Claude Code and Cursor a bit more, but yeah, I still find it quite confusing. Like everyone that seems to teach it is already a coder and has been for a long time, so they don't explain things very well. They just say do this, do that, and you don't know why you're doing it. So I'm looking for someone who can explain it in a way that I understand. But I know you've been playing around with this stuff for a while. Do you find it as confusing as I do, or do you think you're making progress?
No, I totally get where you're coming from on that, because I think a lot of the tutorials and stuff for things like Claude Code, they're all from a developer standpoint. So they're starting from a certain base level of, you just expect people know how to do X, Y, Z. Like, for example, it's all in the terminal and using a CLI, which a lot of people don't really like using. I don't really like using the terminal unless I can absolutely avoid it. But I have had to start using it recently for a few things, and I have been trying out Claude Code as kind of a novice user, because obviously I love using Claude on the web. It's fantastic. It's really, really good for generating code. But yeah, I've been reading such like amazing reviews of Claude Code. I was like, I need to give this a go and really dive into it. So yeah, hopefully, I think we will put together some content on kind of Claude Code and maybe Cursor from a non-developer's point of view, and how you can kind of start moving into using those tools. But yeah, I kind of see they're super, super powerful. And yeah, over the last few weeks, I've been using a couple of new things. Like I've also been using Cloudflare's vector database. So I think we spoke a little bit before about using Superbase's vector database, which was awesome. And I know I've also decided to give Cloudflare's a go because it's so cheap and built into Cloudflare workers. It's kind of almost, it's like free pretty much. It's so cheap. So I've decided to give that a go, and that's been awesome. But yeah, I had to use the CLI a little bit to set some of that up as well, or use terminal, like typing into a terminal window to do some of that, because you can't do everything on the web. So I think we'll definitely cover a lot more about Claude Code in the coming weeks, and probably Cursor and Agentic development and stuff like that. As we kind of as we learn more about it ourselves, coming at it from kind of a no coder perspective, I suppose. But yeah, a lot of like we've said before, a lot of my apps backend is increasingly done with code written by Claude and running in Cloudflare workers. So yeah, it's definitely very exciting. And I mean, the other big thing that's coming out next month that's been interesting for me to follow is the whole new Shopify developer platform, and they've kind of rebuilt the whole thing from the ground up to be very much supportive of agentic development. So I'm really looking forward to getting a bit more into that and doing some new stuff in Shopify that's been on my list for a long time now that they've got that new, more kind of AI-friendly developer platform. So excited to try that.
Are they the kind of company that when they ship something new like that it's good and it works, or is there a worry that it's going to be half-baked and fiddly and not fully functional?
Well, it's been in kind of beta for about 2 or 3 months with selected people who like invited to use it, and from what I've seen, it's been really good. And typically, their developer stuff is pretty good. And they've, like in that memo that we saw from the CEO Toby about how the whole company has gone AI first with Shopify. Like, for example, if any manager in Shopify wants to hire a new employee, they've got to come up with a justification of why AI can't do it first before they're allowed to hire. So like really pushing AI first everywhere. So not only in the company, but they're also pushing hard on opening up that for developers. So allowing a lot more agentic development for Shopify apps, which for me is super exciting. Obviously, coming from a kind of a no-code background and running a Shopify app, that's very exciting. So, yeah, it's great to see that the whole ecosystem maturing, more and more tools coming out. I mean, the other thing that I've been experimenting with Claude Code actually is an app that I came across on Twitter called Conductor, I think it's called, which is kind of a front end for Claude Code. So instead of having to use the terminal and the CLI, you get kind of a nice Mac app where you can see each Claude Code agent running and kind of control it from this nice visual interface, which is this nice open source app. So looking forward to getting to use that a bit more and hopefully covering that, because I've been reading about it loads on Twitter. So it's that stuff like that starting to come out that people are just building and putting out there to make using all these agentic tools easier and more accessible, hopefully to people who aren't kind of hardcore developers. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think the Minimum Studio guys were saying they are using Claude Code within Cursor, which I don't really know what that means because I don't really know what the difference is. But I did try and watch a video about how to do that. And again, it seemed quite complicated, but it sounds like, a stack like that where you're using Claude Code but in a nicer interface is the way to go. And whether that's Cursor or this Conductor or whatever else, I don't know. But yeah, I think I'll give it a couple of months and find out like what the stack of choices for everyone or the interface of choices before I really dig into it. But yeah, I think just if you watch a tutorial every now and then, just so you have a rough idea what's going on, I think it's a good start. But as always, I think this stuff is really still going to be limited to the most advanced visual developers out there. I can't see any of this stuff really getting mass adoption until they have fully abstracted away all the code and AI developers work like a member of staff who never need to show you code and just do their job, and then you just prompt them as like a product manager. I don't think most people really want to be digging around on the command line.
Completely. And It's going to be interesting to see what the impacts of the pricing changes that were just announced yesterday by Anthropic are on this, because a lot of people who've been using Claude Code have been really, really rinsing it, like with using thousands and thousands of pounds worth of credits on the cheaper plans, which is, I mean, they've been able to do some amazing stuff. Like I saw someone hook up a Mac Mini and just kind of give Claude Code complete autonomy over the Mac Mini to run it 24/7 and like do all sorts of tasks, like become your marketing manager and like come up with its own tasks and do stuff. And then I've also seen like web hosted versions of Claude Code where you can like mention it in a Jira ticket or something, and then it will go off and complete the work required. Like, so that's it's like the very early days of seeing that kind of stuff where you can kind of like literally like a product manager talking to a developer, you can describe the change you want, and it will go off and do it. And from what I've been reading, the difference between Claude Code and Cursor that I hear a lot of people say is that Claude Code's able to act a lot more unsupervised and kind of can come up with its own kind of plan and execute against that without needing so much input and guidance, which is really, really nice. Like to if it is able to kind of execute that kind of more autonomously, that's really promising. But yeah, I mean, these tools are constantly competing with each other. I know there's been big changes with Cursor's pricing recently as well. That was, I think, along a similar line of what the Anthropic changes were. So I think at a high level, the Anthropic Claude pricing changes were effectively changing how they limit usage. So, like for example, I would often come up against the usage barrier, which then reset in like 5 hours or something. So it was like a 5-hour window of how much usage you did, and they're now kind of rolling that up into being a weekly bucket of credit. I'm not exactly sure whether it's, you know, how it's limited now, but I'm guessing it's going to be less. But they're saying that it's going to not impact 95% of users or something. So it's only going to be the very, very top power users. And I think they're offering an option that even for if you are a power user, you can kind of carry on using it, but you just have to pay for it on the same rate as you would through the API directly. So if you are a mega power user and you want to use $10,000 worth of credits a day, you still can, but I think you have to pay like an additional fee instead of just the monthly license. So yeah, really interesting. This is probably one of the things I'm most excited about getting to learn is Claude Code and more agentic development using MCPs and stuff like that, which I've seen in Cursor is awesome. And I've used like the Cloudflare MCPs a little bit with Claude, which are really, really cool. So they can connect to your Cloudflare account and do stuff. There's a Superbase one. So yeah, we're good. I think MCPs is a whole nother topic that we need to dive into more, because obviously we've made our own internal Create with MCP, which has proved to be unbelievably useful for doing tasks and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to covering a bit more about that. But certainly very exciting times and tons to learn.
Yeah, and anyone listening, fear not, I will be the one asking the very basic questions to make sure everything gets explained so we can all understand it. So yeah, don't worry, we're going to keep this as accessible as possible, because this is all really new to us as well, and no one's really an expert in it because all of this technology has only existed for a couple of years at most. So yeah, it's exciting to be learning this stuff. I mean, yeah, again, the guys from Minimum Studio were saying, like, honestly, if you've been using visual development platforms and you learn to code, it's like, you know, being given the keys to the kingdom. It's like being able to do magic, because like anything you can dream of, you can basically do it because someone else has already done it, and there'll be like open source stuff all over the web to help you do those things. So yeah, it's very liberating, I think. So if you are like on the more technical end of visual development and you're interested in learning that stuff and being able to wield magic, then yeah, follow along. Hopefully we can help you. But at the same time, if that's beyond you, I totally feel your pain, and I think there's still amazing things that can be done without needing to code. And yeah, even just using simple automations and AI agents is you can do crazy things today that you couldn't do previously. So still exciting times.
Exactly. And another reason to maybe check out the Create With membership is we are going to be making mini courses. We already have your first mini course in there on AI, but we're also going to be covering things like building agents in N8n, and then even slightly more advanced things like using Superbase as a no-coder or coming from that background. And I think what we're trying to do with Create With and the membership is there is an awful lot of insane hype on social media about every AI tool, every new model that comes out. You know, this is the most earth-shattering thing ever. And we're really trying to come at it from a point of we have used these, like we're going to use it ourselves in a production project and then pass judgment on it. Like we're trying to be a bit more editorialized in how we talk about stuff, so that we're not just saying this is, you know, earth-shattering for everything. We're going to very carefully pick the tools that we're covering. For example, N8n has become a core part of our day-to-day operations, in particular the AI agents in it. So we're going to make a ton of content around that, and we're also doing a ton with 100 School on that as well. So yeah, we're definitely trying to focus a lot of what we do on kind of picking out the best AI tools, you know, from a non-traditional developer standpoint, and how you can get into them, and trying to make as much content as we can around it. I mean, one other thing it might be good to touch on, Kieran, that from last week is our partnership with 100 School. If you want to kind of talk a little bit around that, because obviously we were away with Max and Harold from 100 School who were joining us there. I think all of the Create With team have hosted a few 100 School sessions over the past months, and there's some new stuff coming between us as well, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're not aware of 100 School, they basically sprung up out of 100 Days of No Code, which Max Haining started maybe 5 years ago. And they've essentially gone from being just a kind of 100-day challenge that's done over email to get you learning a bit every day. And they've turned it into a bunch of really successful educational boot camps, which last for about 2.5 weeks each, and they run them every month. And they're on various topics. Like they have one that's specifically AI agents. They have one that's specifically about AI app development, so vibe coding, in other words. And you go on this boot camp and you are surrounded by other people, usually professionals, mid-career professionals who are thinking, I want to learn more about this stuff I've heard so much about, but I don't have the time to spend years and years doing it. So they go through this boot camp, they go through a number of different classes, some of which you and I teach, James, and then they do exercises, and then at the end they kind of launch their own projects. They choose which is their favorite tool, and they launch their own project. And it's like such a great way of learning alongside other people who are also new to these things, but have the same mindset. So yeah, we have partnered with them after some lengthy discussions last week. It just makes perfect sense for us because we share the same mission, which is to help kind of technically curious people to really level up their skills and learn how to do really cool stuff with AI, whether it's building apps or just automating existing workflows. And it makes perfect sense to partner with them because they already do these amazing boot camps, and we're working on kind of other different parts of content. So there's something for everyone, whether you want to go on one of the boot camps and immerse yourself, or whether you just want to dip in and like read our newsletter or watch our YouTube channel and kind of get an idea of what's possible and what's going on. And then maybe at some point in the future you might think, I want to go full on into this and do a boot camp. So yeah, we're hoping it's going to be a really great partnership going forwards. And yeah, obviously we know Harold and Max and the team really well. So I think, yeah, it can only mean good things for them and for us in terms of what we can offer to people in the community.
That's it. We're trying to bring together all of the best resources to kind of help people upskill, learn AI, and bring it into their daily lives. So, really excited for that partnership with 100 School, and was really fantastic to have them along with us in the Netherlands. That was really, really awesome. So, we're coming up to about half an hour here, and I thought I would just quickly give a quick summary of some of the upcoming Create With events that are coming up. So you can head to createwith.com and find out, see all of these listed. But we have a couple coming up. So we've got our very first members office hours on August the 21st, I think we've got. So if you're a member, you can come along and ask questions about automations and AI agents. So that's all well worth checking out. We've got Create With Meetup in Montreal. We have one in Leeds, Barcelona, Madrid, Brighton, and we're also doing some special pre-party for the Bubble event in London as well. So if you want to check out more detail on any of those, head to createwith.com and look at the events directory. And we've also got, at the end of the year, some events in Thailand and Vietnam as well, while I'm going to be out there. So we're going to run some special events then as well. So you can head along and see all of those. And you can also sign up for the email newsletter, which is going to also include a new section with AI and no-code events that are happening near you. So if you head into your Create With profile and set your city, you'll see at the end of the newsletter, you'll get a little section with events that are happening near you that you can go and join. So I think that's pretty much it for this week. So thank you very much for listening. We're going to have tons more coming. Really looking forward to diving into more about Claude Code, agentic development in the coming weeks, and covering a little bit more about what we've been up to with our own startups, because I know we haven't covered that this week, Kieran, and I know I've been working on tons of stuff with UserLoop, so looking forward to chatting about that next time. But yeah, I think that's it for this week. So thanks very much for joining us, everyone, and we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Yep, thanks everyone. Bye.